I think also, too, Matt, here's what you need to do for everybody in baseball. You need to pull your guys aside and go, hey, you guys got a collective bargaining agreement coming up here. Let's get in there that there are no games in Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago until at least April 20th.
Okay. I don't know that the intricacies of the schedule are something that I don't spend much time on, but I know everybody puts in for certain games. They get to prioritize when they want things at home and when they don't. So I would think that'd be a little more complicated than the CBA.
Yeah, but I also think like it's so bizarre to me. We go to Florida and Arizona, train in these beautiful conditions, and then send people to places where it's almost inhumane to go out there and play a game of baseball like it was up in Cleveland. Like the thinking and the thought process just doesn't make much sense to me to have guys get conditioned for warm weather and then turn around and send them places that are like below zero.
Yeah, and then you look at, I think the Twins might have started with 9 on the road, maybe, or 8 on the road before they went home, and it's still going to be, it's still going to be cold when you go there. Even if it's May, it could still be cold. So I don't think you can always escape the cold weather. I mean, I remember one year, you probably remember years back when the Royals and the Rays had a snow out in May, and it's like you're never going to be perfect with it. Hopefully the weather's better when we get home this week, but today's going to be in the 50s and sunny, so that's fine. That's baseball weather.
Yeah. Matt, I want to ask you about Carter Jensen. I thought the alarm clock thing kind of went a little bit haywire when TMZ's out writing about it, but I will say the kid has answered all the criticism in the last 2 games, especially going back-to-back bridge in that cold weather. What have you seen that you've liked so far from Carter Jensen?
Well, we have a lot of confidence in Carter behind the plate, hitting, as a teammate, that the alarm thing, the oversleeping. I mean, that's everybody's worst nightmare, right? Like people have dreams about that. You miss school, you miss class, you're late to work, all those kinds of things. And frankly, I was just really happy that he was okay. Because your mind goes to the worst, at least mine does. But he's moved on past that. The team has moved on past that. And as far as we think he's going to be a big contributor to helping us win a lot of games. And he's done that, these last couple of days, swinging the bat. We didn't come out on top yesterday, but, he's going to have some big hits for us. He's going to do a lot of good things behind the plate. So we are definitely moved on past that.
I'm watching a video this morning of Connor Griffin signing his contract and his mother celebrate, and she does a fist bump. She goes, yes, and gives him a big hug. That's kind of now becoming sort of a trend in baseball where young guys are getting paid. Do you look at Carter Jensen as one of those guys that could potentially get one of these type of contracts that we're seeing for a kid like Connor Griffin right now?
That is a question for JJ and Scott and
Good
those
answer.
guys. I don't. It really is. I mean, that's not something I spend time on. Thinking about. There's all kinds of different factors in those things, and that's ownership, that's front office, that's not mine. I mean, I certainly love Carter. I think he's going to be a great player, but that's way out of my area.
We'll try to get back into your area. One thing, at least from I know nothing about managing a baseball game, obviously, Matt, but are you getting to the point of frustration, or is it to a point of aggravation with the pickoff moves that have happened at first base with this ball club early on in the season?
Some of them are frustrating for sure. People made a big deal out of the Tolbert one the other day. We talked about that, how he's out there for one job, and when you're doing it against a lefty, that's a very challenging thing. And anytime you steal against a lefty, it's a gamble because you don't know if the guy's coming over or not. Usually they don't telegraph things that much, and so that was a really challenging one. Some of the ones with the right-handed pitchers, those have to be cleaned up. The guy that picked off Jack the other day has an exceptionally quick move. And sometimes it'll happen, but we do have to be better at that, not having that happen in key situations.
Yeah, we've seen Carter Jensen really thrive at the 5-hole in your lineup, at least so far in Cleveland, and where he's provided his power. Am I just dumb when it comes to baseball to think that like set lineups are just like more profitable than maybe getting into the analytics of moving guys around because of matchups, or is that just the way of the game these days?
Well, I'd say I don't have it right in front of me, but I think he's hit fifth almost every game he's been in there. So we have been pretty close to set in our lineup. I think maybe the day Jack hit fifth once and Carter hit seventh. And some of that's going to be feel and instinct. Some of it's going to be analytics, but we have been pretty set in our lineup.
Yeah, you look at today and, you've got Marte out there. You got a chance to win this series, Cleveland in first base. Is this one of those things where when you signed him in the offseason, it's like, hey, you're going to have to spell some guys sometimes and play some outfield and really be a leader on this team that is kind of like a core of very young players. Is this one of those days that you look at for that sort of situation?
Well, yeah, Marte knew that he was going to play against most lefties. Yeah. He was going to play some outfield. He was going to DH. Today Carter's catching, Salvi's DHing, so we're giving Jack a day. He's played every game since opening day, and we thought this was a good day for Marte to go out there for sure.
And another guy who's been really kind of ripping the cover off the ball, at least in my eyes, Kyle Isbell, man. He's been fantastic this year, both offensively, defensively for you as well. Where have you seen him grow the most? I know it's only been 10 games, but gosh, he's really off to a great start.
You're right. No, he's been great. He's I think one of the big things with Kyle, we've noticed, he's healthy this year. I think one of the things that we've noticed in the past is his legs take a beating. He plays a premium position. He does the most running of anybody on the field defensively, and we have to take care of his legs. He's always had the soft tissue issues with the hamstring. He's healthy now. Last year he had a little bit of a foot issue that was causing him some problems. So because of those things not being an issue right now, he's using his legs more. He's stronger in the lower half, which is helping him see the ball better and not jump at it. He's letting the ball come to him a little bit more. He's using the whole field. And I think he's gained an understanding of who he is as a hitter, the occasional homer, but using the whole field, especially when he gets behind in the count. Obviously, the bunt is a huge weapon for him. And so I think as he has gained understanding of what he does well and what he can do to help us win, I think that's been really fun to watch.
When you look at Bobby and Vinny, when do you start to get concerned about them not being as hot as they need to be?
I'm not concerned about them. Those guys are going to hit. They have a track record. They understand what they're doing. I mean, Bobby's hit some balls exceptionally hard. Vinny's been taking some of his walks. Obviously they haven't put up the production numbers that they or we would have liked so far, but that's not something that we're going to worry too much about.
Something you might have to worry about is if Walt Weiss ever gets angry at anybody in baseball. I don't know if you saw this video last night of the Angels and the Braves game.
Yeah.
And then Walt Weiss taking down Jorge Soler and afterwards kind of joking like he's the toughest dude on the field and he can hurt somebody, so I had to get him out of the way. If you watch that video, what's your impression of that from Walt Weiss?
I actually was watching that game as that happened, and the ball went to the backstop, and the camera was on the play at second, and then all of a sudden everything was going crazy when the camera came back. And I know Walt jacked, I know that, and he was a gamer. He played exceptionally hard when he played, and I know he does a ton of working out. So good for him that he was, it was a tackle, but he's trying to diffuse the situation so none of his players get hurt. And I think that's what you're supposed to do as a staff member, is go in there and try to break it up. He's just a little tougher than most of us.
Have you ever been part of like a big brawl like that where like hammer hocks are getting thrown like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. Oh yeah. It's not fun. It's definitely not fun. And it's, you just, as you don't know where the next one's going to come from. And you're just trying to, again, as a staff member, you're trying to diffuse it. That's your job, right? You're not supposed to incite it. But you just don't know who's angry and why they're angry and where it's coming from. So it's not a very comfortable feeling.
What was the brawl that you were involved in that you're like, oh my God, let me tell you this story?
Well, probably the worst one was in winter ball. I was coaching third base. I got there too quickly. I got to the pitcher before and then it was like, just hold on for dear life while other people come and try to diffuse the hitter that's charging. So, it was a lot of people flailing around, a lot of rolling around on the ground, and not fun. Again, like you just don't know where it's coming from, right? So you just want to get everybody out of there as quickly as you can.
Well, enjoy the heat wave that is in Cleveland today with those 50-degree temperatures, and then we get ready for rain back in Kansas City with the White Sox. But get that series win today, Matt. As always, we appreciate the time, and go get the dub today.
Okay, guys. Thank you.